What if I told you that nothing you believe about your existence is real? That everything around you, every experience you have lived through until now, has only been a rehearsal for something much greater? Think carefully. Have you ever felt that something is wrong with the world? That no matter how much you try to fit in, there is always a lingering sense that something doesn't make sense. As if there is a hidden truth, concealed right in front of your eyes, waiting to be discovered. If you feel this, pay attention. In the next few minutes, you may gain access to a revelation that could change everything. But here's the most important detail. This message is not for everyone. Most people will never awaken to this truth. They will remain trapped in the ordinary flow of life, distracted, living on autopilot, believing that reality is only what they can see, touch, and measure. But some souls, some were chosen, and you, chosen one, are part of this. What if I told you that everything happening in your life right now was already written before you were even born? This is not just a coincidence. You were led here for a reason. Chosen one, your awakening has already begun. Do you feel it? The energy in the air? The sensation that something monumental is about to happen? An impending shift, an invisible force pushing you onto a new path, even if you cannot yet explain it? Many ignore this call. They try to suppress the feeling with distractions, with the routine of everyday life, with meaningless worries. But the truth is, the more they try to deny it, the stronger it becomes within them. And perhaps you have already felt this in certain moments of your life, when you were alone in silence and suddenly felt an unexplainable shiver. When you looked up the sky and for a brief moment sensed that there was something far beyond what your eyes could perceive. Or when something inside you simply whispered, "There's something wrong with this reality." But what if I told you that this feeling is not just an instinct, but a direct sign that your reality is about to change? If you are here, wuss, it is because that feeling has been growing stronger. But pay close attention. This is not an ordinary message. Some will reject it. Others may feel fear. But if something inside you resonates with these words, if your heart races as you hear this truth, then keep going. Because if these words feel true to you, it means your soul already recognizes this reality. And if you have made it this far, chosen one, then this message was meant for you. So keep going, because now you are about to discover the first sign. But be careful. After hearing this, your perception of reality will never be the same again. And this distances you from people. What once made sense to others now feels unnecessary to you. You realize that most people are merely repeating patterns, following a predetermined path, without questioning, without reflecting, without seeing beyond the veil of reality. But you see, and the more you notice this disconnection, the more intense this feeling becomes. Deep down, you know that something is about to happen. But what exactly? This is one of the hardest moments of awakening. Because while you feel like you're moving in the right direction, you also realize that many won't follow you on this journey. And that can bring loneliness, doubt, and even fear. You start to wonder if something is wrong with you. But the truth is, this detachment is necessary. It is not pulling you away from your essence. On the contrary, it is bringing you closer to it. Buddha experienced this before his enlightenment. Jesus let go of the structures of the world to fulfill his mission. Everyone who transcended had to pass through this moment, the instant they realized they are not their possessions, not their achievements, not the attachments they built on earth. And you are feeling this now. That's why lately, you may have noticed changes in the way you perceive time, relationships, and habits. The things that once consumed your attention, social media, political debates, meaningless entertainment, now seem lifeless, as if your consciousness is demanding something deeper. And the most curious part? This isn't happening because you chose to change. The change simply happened, as if your soul is clearing away everything that no longer belongs to your journey. But here's something few understand. This detachment does not mean you have to abandon everything and isolate yourself from the world. It simply means that you no longer depend on these things to feel complete. And this is where something even deeper begins to unfold. Many people going through this awakening describe an unexplainable peace, an inner silence where there was once anxiety, a sense of freedom where there was once a need for control. For the first time, you feel like you need nothing to be who you truly are. But this is only the beginning, because this transition is not just in your mind. In the next few minutes, you will understand what happens when this change reaches your body, and why so many people have been experiencing sensations they could never explain. Imagine waking up in the middle of the night, feeling a strange energy moving through your body. Your heart beats faster, but it's not fear. It's not anxiety. It's something different, as if your body is responding to an invisible force, something you can't explain with words, but that you feel in every cell. And the most intriguing part? You feel that your energy is different. At times you experience surges of vitality, as if you are connected to something greater, as if your mind is operating at an accelerated frequency. At other times, your body seems to shut down completely, demanding deep rest. But what is happening to you? Science may try to explain part of this. The nervous system reacts to deep emotional changes. The brain adjusts sleep patterns when we go through periods of internal transformation. But this is not an ordinary shift. What is happening here goes beyond the mind. Spirituality teaches that when the soul awakens, the body is the first to feel the transition. Before the mind understands, it is already processing this new frequency. That's why many who go through this process experience unexplainable physical symptoms, as if something is being activated within them. And there is something few people talk about. Some report feeling a weight on their chest, as if there is a strange pressure over the heart. Others describe the sensation of something expanding inside them, a vibrant energy that at times feels almost overwhelming. Have you ever experienced this? If so, understand that this is no coincidence. Your body is trying to warn you. It is adjusting itself to sustain a new vibration, a new reality. But this transformation doesn't only happen while you are awake. It invades your dreams. And if you have felt that your nights are becoming increasingly intense, filled with visions and messages that seem to come from somewhere else, then you need to stay here. In the next few minutes, you will understand why so many people have been having inexplicable dreams and experiences, and what they really mean. You wake up in the middle of the night with your heart racing. The dream you just had was so intense that it feels more real than reality itself. You try to recall the details, but they slip away from your mind as if they are hidden behind a dense fog. Or maybe it's the opposite. You keep dreaming of the same places, the same people, the same symbols, as if your mind is trying to show you something, but you still can't decipher the message. Is this happening to you? If so, know that these dreams are not random. They may be one of the clearest signs that your soul is preparing for something greater. Many chosen ones report dreaming of unknown cities, ancient temples, towering mountains, glowing lights in the sky, places they have never visited, yet feel strangely familiar. Sometimes it feels like stepping through a portal into another realm. Other times, it's as if someone is trying to communicate, but the words come encoded, like an incomprehensible whisper. And then, there are the dreams of beings. Maybe you've seen figures dressed in white. Maybe you've heard voices that didn't sound human, yet carried a message filled with meaning. Maybe you felt presences around you as you slept, as if something or someone was trying to awaken you to a greater truth. But these dreams are not limited to the night. During the day, flashes of memories appear out of nowhere. Déjà vu sensations become more frequent. You catch yourself looking at an ordinary place and, for a fleeting moment, feel as if you have been there before, but in another life. And the most curious part? This is happening to many people around the world. Lately, a growing number of individuals have reported extremely vivid dream experiences, often sharing similar details, even though they have never met. What does this mean? Spirituality teaches that dreams are one of the purest channels of communication between dimensions. When the rational mind sleeps, the soul is free to explore other realities, and it is in this state that many revelations take place. Maybe your soul is trying to prepare you. Maybe these dreams are fragments of memories from something you don't yet fully understand. Or maybe they are direct messages about the transition that is approaching. But what comes next is even more unsettling. Many who go through this awakening report that as these dreams become more intense, they begin to notice an even stranger phenomenon, the feeling that they are being guided toward a specific moment, a final revelation that will change everything. And believe me, these dreams are not just creations of your mind, they are warnings. And the next sign proves this in an unsettling way. In the next few minutes, you will understand why this sense of premonition is growing stronger and what may be about to happen. Close your eyes for a second. Take a deep breath. Can you feel this vibration in the air? That sense that something invisible is moving around you, as if the universe itself is setting the stage for a great shift. Maybe you've already noticed it. Reality feels more unstable. Things are happening too fast. Time seems to be accelerating. Days, weeks, and months pass as if someone has turned up the speed of life, and deep inside, you know that something bigger is approaching. But what exactly is changing? Many people report feeling an unexplained restlessness. It's not fear, it's not anxiety, it's an anticipation they can't quite put into words, like waiting for something, even without knowing what. And then, the signs begin to appear. You notice an increase in synchronicities, repeating numbers, unexpected encounters, messages that seem to show up at the perfect moment. Maybe you've felt certain places and certain people affecting you in strange ways, as if your intuition is sharpening, picking up on things that used to go unnoticed. The world is changing, and your soul feels it before your mind can fully comprehend it. But is this just a premonition, or is it something much deeper? If you search, you'll find that throughout history, great transformations have always been preceded by this same collective feeling of unrest. Before every major evolutionary leap for humanity, some people felt it first, as if their souls were already tuned in to what was coming. And now it's happening again. Have you noticed that in recent years, more and more people have started to question reality? That a mass awakening is taking place? That subjects like consciousness, energy, and spirituality are emerging like never before? This is not a coincidence. What's coming will affect everyone, but only those who feel the call will be prepared. And if you feel this shift, then you are already part of it. But pay attention, this feeling is not just in your mind. It is manifesting in time itself, in the energetic field of the planet. And the next sign makes this even clearer. In the next few minutes, you will understand why your perception of time is changing and what it means for your transition. Have you noticed how fast days seem to be passing? You blink, and suddenly it's a new month. What once felt like an eternity now happens in an instant. You feel like the years are dissolving, as if time itself is being compressed. But why? Is time really speeding up? Or are you the one who's changing? Most people simply ignore this sensation. They assume it's just the rush of modern life, the overload of information, the endless routine. But if it were just that, then why are so many people around the world reporting the exact same experience? If you ask anyone around you, you will notice a pattern. Almost everyone feels that time is no longer the same. But very few stop to question what this really means. What's happening goes far beyond human perception. Ancient spiritual traditions foretold that before a great global transformation, time would become unstable. The natural cycle would be altered. What once took years to unfold would begin manifesting in months, weeks, days. And this is already happening. Many say that this acceleration of time is related to energetic changes on the planet. Others believe we are entering a new phase of collective consciousness, where higher vibrations are shifting our perception of time itself. But there is something even stranger about all of this. If on one hand, time seems to be rushing by too fast, on the other, there are moments when it slows down in an unexplainable way. Have you ever had the feeling that something important is about to happen? As if you are living inside a bubble where everything around you moves in slow motion? This is not a coincidence. The chosen ones are experiencing a shift in the way they interact with reality. What once felt solid and predictable now seems unstable. Things happen so quickly that sometimes you feel like you can no longer keep up. Have you noticed that lately, we barely begin a new year, and suddenly, we are already halfway through it? That certain memories feel so recent, even though they happened years ago? That events that should take months to unfold now happen overnight? And this isn't just happening to you. Many people are noticing this shift, but few understand what it really means. Science suggests that our perception of time can be altered by elevated states of consciousness. When we are fully present, time slows down. When we are disconnected, it speeds up. But what if this change is not just happening in our minds, but in the very structure of reality itself? You feel that time is slipping away because your soul is no longer bound by the same rules. Your frequency is adjusting to a new rhythm. You are not just feeling time accelerate, you are disconnecting from the way it has always functioned. Many say that this is one of the strongest signs that we are on the brink of a great shift in human existence. And if you feel this, prepare yourself. Because this acceleration is not random. It is one of the final warnings that your transition has already begun. And if you think this is intense, the next sign will make everything even clearer. In the next few minutes, you will understand what happens when the true purpose of your existence is finally revealed. If you are feeling this, congratulations. You have already been chosen. But what does this really mean for your future? Throughout your life, you have felt different. While everyone else followed the current, you questioned. While many were content with distractions, you searched for something deeper. Deep down in your soul, you knew you were here for a greater purpose. And now, that purpose is beginning to reveal itself. Maybe recently, you have felt an overwhelming desire for change, as if everything you have lived up until now was just preparation for something bigger. The old version of yourself no longer makes sense. The same ambitions, the same plans, the same paths, all feel obsolete. Because for the first time, you feel the need to do something different. But what? Many chosen ones describe this same feeling, a silent calling that becomes stronger with time. It is not an external voice, it is not a written message. It is something inside you, an unshakable certainty that your mission is near. And then something strange happens. You begin attracting situations, people, and opportunities that seem to be guiding you toward a new path. Maybe you have noticed that certain coincidences are no longer coincidences, as if the universe itself is orchestrating everything around you to push you toward where you are meant to be. The truth is, when the time comes, life begins to remove all distractions. Everything that is not part of your purpose simply disappears, and everything that once seemed like an obstacle now reveals itself as a necessary step, preparing you for the next level. But there is something important you need to understand. Being chosen does not mean that everything will be easy. Quite the opposite. Those who awaken to their true purpose often face even greater challenges, because now there are no more excuses. You can't pretend you don't know anymore. You can't ignore the signs. You can't go back to unconsciousness. Chosen one, you have already crossed the threshold. Now the only option is to move forward. So I ask you, are you ready to accept your mission? Because from this moment on, your life will never be the same. And now that you understand all the signs, only one final revelation remains. In the next few minutes, you will uncover the truth behind this transformation and what happens when your soul reaches the point of no return. The truth that few dare to say is that this world was never your final home. Everything you have lived through was only preparation. Every doubt, every loss, every moment of solitude, none of it was a mistake. From the very beginning, you have been led to this exact moment. Everything that once seemed confusing now begins to make sense. You have felt the disconnection. You have experienced the detachment. Your body has reacted. Your dreams have delivered messages. The sense of imminent change has become impossible to ignore. Time has accelerated, and now something deep inside you knows that the final transition is near. But here is the most important revelation of all. This transformation is not just happening inside you. It is happening on a much greater level. The entire world is changing. The old structures are crumbling. What was once hidden is now coming to light. And only those who feel the call will be able to cross the portal into the new. And you, chosen one, if you have made it this far, it was not by chance. You have been prepared for this moment. You have already crossed the threshold. Now, there is no turning back. The question is not whether this transformation will happen. The question is, are you ready to accept who you truly are? Because from this moment forward, your choice will define everything. In the next few minutes, you will understand exactly what to do from here and why this journey is only beginning. Now that you know the 7 signs, one question remains. What comes next? Awakening is not the end. On the contrary, it is only the beginning. You were not guided here by accident. Everything you have felt, every experience, every moment of restlessness, every silent answer within you, all of it was a calling. But a calling only has meaning if it is answered. The world as you knew it no longer exists, and ignoring this truth will not make it disappear. You have 2 options. You can pretend that none of this happened and continue living as before, ignoring the signs, or you can accept your transformation, embrace your mission, and follow the path that your soul has already chosen for you. But be warned, awakening is not for everyone. Only those truly ready will move forward. It requires courage. It demands that you let go of the illusions that have kept you trapped for so long and trust the unknown. It requires you to connect with who you truly are, without masks, without fear. And now I ask you, are you ready to take the next step? Chosen one, if this message resonated within you, then you already know the answer. And if you know someone who is also experiencing this, share this video. There are many chosen ones out there who still don't understand what they are feeling, and maybe through you, they will find their way. Chosen one, the transformation has already begun, and now it is up to you to decide what role you will play in it. Awakening can no longer be delayed. The time is now.